All right, it's a little bit after 7 o'clock. We're going to start our caucus. Hey, Bill. Joe, how are you? Hi, everybody. Hi, Joe. She's not here. Mr. Dundevan, funding of the forest hazard awareness signs.
Okay, a while back, we charged the forest board to come up with warning signs or whatever. They've done that, and they have a prototype. I think it's been circulated. There are 5 signs, and the cost is $347.75, correct? Approximately $350 approximately. I think that it should not be necessary for that to come out of forest board funds, because council charged them to do that, and I think that it should not come out of their funds. So I'm asking council to loosen up and let's pay for it.
Yeah, and we were advised of this from our insurance company as well, so I think we can justify.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's only $350, so we don't need a motion, or should we do a motion?
No, I think we're okay with that, but the only thing is finance. I'd like you to sit down with them next week, because some of those funding sources, line items are a little low. So after we make those adjustments, then we can get this done.
Okay, so you're not sure exactly where you want to take this from?
Right, I am not yet.
Okay.
How's land and buildings?
Land and buildings is pretty good, or if you want to increase the forest line item for other supplies, we could do that also.
Okay.
Yeah, now that we have that new ordinance, we can actually put money in.
Yeah, so we can do that, but like I said, I'd rather look at all of this before we do anything.
Okay, what's the timing on these signs as far as production and payment and?
Ideally, the company, Municipal Signs, would like to have a PO to pay for this, and then they'll make them within probably a week or so. They work very quickly when I've ordered signs from them.
Yeah, we could do that.
Just go ahead and do the PO?
Yeah, we could do that. I can give them a PO number, and then they can go ahead with the signs. We won't get the invoice until once the signs are here, which will be another week or so. And by that time, we should be ready to go.
Okay, so we'll do that on lands and buildings?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so I'm sure the chair, would you
Sure.
do the PO?
Do you need us to shuffle that money tonight so that you're covered for the PO?
No.
Okay.
And then the village has,
$350. Take the PO.
the village has an account with them, and we got our signs.
Yeah.
We'll have a PO ready for you
In the next day or so.
next day.
All right, good. And we've already installed 3 of the posts at the College Lane, Indian Trail, and Weaver entrance. 4x4 posts where other signs are located, so those posts are already there. The only thing you need to do is install posts behind the football field here, the single bridge
Right.
on either side of there.
Okay.
But as soon as we have the signs, we can mount them.
Great, great. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Anyone do your zoning report, Victor?
Sure. So I have one zoning permit issued, 211 Edgewood Street for new windows, gutters, downspouts, and siding, total 10175. Architectural Review Board met Monday, September 11th. One signed permit application was submitted and approved for the State Farm Agency in Town One Plaza. Next scheduled meeting is Monday, October 2nd at 7. Next scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission is tomorrow here at Village Hall at 7 o'clock. Investigations, I had a couple high grass complaints, 88 Venlo, 92 Venlo, junk vehicle at 88 Venlo, improperly parked vehicle, 16 Walker Court, and excessive hesitation, 426 Venlo Court. Short and sweet on that. I also included for Jay, we've been kicking around temporary sign ordinances, especially in relation to political ordinance. So I've done a little research on some things that some other places have done, hoping that that there's something other than just a 10-foot right-of-way ban on signs, political signage. There's a couple of pictures as well as the political statement, but the political statement talking with Jay is a little old, so it may not be entirely applicable. But I've made up a couple, if you look at the pictures, placed a 4x8 sheet of cardboard. That's actually 15 feet off the road. You can see how much of a traffic hazard that is. That's the intersection of Windermere and 224. And then the successive picture after that is 4 political signs placed successively down also, which would be legal if we went to the 10 feet off the right of way or outside of the sidewalk area. And you can see that also represents a vehicle hazard. So I'm hoping that there's something, you know, and I was talking to Jay a little bit, and he's going to look into it to see if there's something that can be modified a little bit to help us out there so far as possibly, because I'm the one that's going to be getting those calls when stuff is locked, and I'm really hoping that we can add something to it to give us a little bit more enforcement. But from talking to Jay, it seems like it's very stringent so far as what we are and what we're not allowed to say, and the political signs are a little bit exempt from the normal run-of-the-mill temporary signage. So, but for your review, and I will give the entire, I have a copy of the entire case if anybody wants to read that. But I gave you the pertinent, you know, findings from the court. So, but hopefully we can add something to that ordinance. So.
You know, normally a zoning change, you know, you have to go through you have to go through the 3 readings, public hearing, and all that stuff, so that takes some time. I think we can pass it by emergency by 2/3 majority. In this case, that might have to be the way to do it. So you might want to check into that, Jay, and see if I'm correct. Okay.
I believe you can't waive the 3 readings and
Yeah, but this for zoning, it has to be by 2/3 majority.
Thank you.
What's that?
You good?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Wilson, we have some Town One Square One dignitaries here.
If anybody's here from Town One Square One, please stand up.
I guess that's the wrong name.
Town One Square One, Town One Range One.
Well, Town SpongeBob SquarePants, whatnot. It's yes, it's actually Town One Range One.
Right, sorry I didn't catch that, but thank you.
No
for
problem, no
joining us
problem.
tonight. They're going to talk about all the activities that have been going on the last, it feels like a year, but I know you haven't been organized for that long. But bring us up to date on everything that's happened.
Okay, great.
And everything you plan to do.
Thank you, and thanks for having us here. Yes, Town One Range One is a relatively new group that's put itself together from late spring until present. We worked along with Streetscapes to sort of combine forces and maybe work together and revive some great projects that they had started. So at this point, we've managed to get a board of trustees together, a 501c3 status, and we've written a vision statement and a mission statement, and I'm going to pass those around to each of you, so you each have a copy. Essentially, the vision statement is very clear, and while you're getting these, I'll read some of it aloud to you. As I said, Town One Range One, a newly formed committee, shall work with representatives of both village and township officials, churches and schools, the forest, businesses, civic association, public institutions, and residents to create a comprehensive and collaborative plan to preserve our historic past and prepare for the future. We intend not only to beautify our community, but to improve the entire town by addressing vacant or rundown properties, creating arts and cultural districts, dining venues, and unique retail experiences. Street trees, park improvements, and real estate developments of housing are some of the projects that will be proposed. The results of these efforts shall increase community pride and involvement, increase property values, increase population, increase school enrollment, increase tax revenue, and increase tourism and the overall quality of life in our town. So that's sort of a long-winded statement there, and there's a lot of work involved in that. But we really are looking to the mayor, the solicitor, members of village council, and also the township trustees to come together and assist us, and we assist you in trying to achieve some of these goals to make a really great town even better. There's been a lot of wonderful people commenting on, especially newcomers to the area, how beautiful Poland is, and we all know that. But there are also some areas that we feel would be great additions to Poland. A wine and cheese shop. Perhaps we could have some spot liquor licensing for upscale restaurants or outdoor dining. We'd like to see some of the retail areas shored up a little bit and try to attract business rather than drive it away. Certainly the street trees is a big project that we'd like to begin working on. The value that they add to the community, both aesthetically and environmentally, can't be denied. We've been working with James Brammer, the Street Tree Commissioner, Ohio Edison and Davy Tree, to identify those trees which are most suitable for either under power lines or not under power lines. So that's some of the work that we're beginning to do. We also have the first project that we did took place this summer. We worked with Russ Beatty and Tim Clavin. We did some physical improvements to both the inside and outside of Village Hall. And it was a great project in that it was funded solely by the community, and the labor was 90% solely by the community. And we were able to get a lot done and get done quickly. We wanted to start with Village Hall mainly to say if we're going to be talking to other people about improving their properties, we needed to have our house in order as well. And so that's the type of reaching out that we want to do to the community. We don't want to be a force of anger or resentment. We want to, work together, come together to really make some positive improvements for our community.
Wonderful.
Any questions?
Thank you so much for everything that you've done here.
Oh, thanks.
It's been
Yeah.
fun just to watch it happening.
It was fun to do it, yes.
I bet it
Yeah.
Some folks have asked about what you're doing next. I know that you've kind of gave an umbrella statement of what's happening, but do you have a detailed checklist of things that you're planning? I mean, everybody's really anticipating some great things, and we really appreciate the excitement it's generated.
Well, good. Yes, we have a master list of projects that we'd like to see accomplished in some way or another. But we're really just kind of testing the waters from the government at the township level and the government at the village level to see what level of cooperation we're going to receive before we begin raising funds and really putting our efforts into projects. Again, this is going to have to be a mutual sort of agreement where council and our group and the township trustees work together to accomplish these desired goals. We're looking to that leadership that you possess and the knowledge in working with various government agencies to achieve some of these projects. So again, we have a master list of projects we'd like to see done. We're just going to need guidance as to where to start and how to begin accomplishing those.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Roberts, the members of your committee. Thank you very
Thanks
much
for having
being here
us.
tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Wilson, a blooper committee name change.
Yeah, everybody said it's frivolous. It's not really necessary at this point. We'll stick to the posterity of calling our committee blooper and know what it stands for, at least for now. So we discussed it at tonight's committee meeting, and we have other more pressing things to look at. So that's where we stand for now. No change.
Resolution for somewhere. He's got a resolution for softball, I think.
Oh, no.
You got it? Okay. Mr. Major, please check for senior residents.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time, so I'd like to get it off dead center. Okay, so Russ has some work he's done, and I know doggone well that Mrs. Gillette is, well, are you here? Oh yeah, there you are. I know you've been very patient, but I think it's time that we get this going. You agree? Sure, okay. But everybody knows what it is. You check on the old folks, the sick and all that kind of stuff. Everybody around here has got one. So I think it's a good idea, and I think that everybody agrees. But to do it, we have to get a ordinance, right?
Update our policies or
Nothing with the ordinance, but something
responsibilities of
written.
the police.
It's going to be just a new program that the police are going to be doing. I don't think there's anything.
Would you want us to establish it, Jay, with an ordinance?
I don't believe you'd have to do that. I truly believe, and I was actually thinking about it on the way in, with the agenda in mind, I really think that's just a program that the police department can implement. Of course, any financial support would come from council, but other than that, I don't see you needing an ordinance implementing it.
Oh, very good, okay. Well, Mrs. Gillette, we're going to get started, okay? You've been very patient.
Hey, John, I understand there's like some documents that people might fill out
Yeah.
if they're asking for that type of assistance
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point in time you could get copies of that so
Oh, sure.
so the council can
Sure.
become more familiar
Sure.
with it. That's all.
Okay, I gave everybody a copy of what they have in Boardman, remember? And the township, and I guess those are the two main ones that I got. Yeah,
So you're gonna have to come up, we're gonna have to come up with a form that fits
Yeah.
Holden Village.
correct, yeah.
And put on the website. Yep.
Anyone else have any items to discuss in caucus?
Want to do your report?
Sure. I am going to circulate around the list of bills to be paid for your signatures. The farmer's account and Star Ohio accounts have been reconciled for the month of August. Also going around for your signatures, you have in front of you the financials for the month of August. I am going to request a finance meeting for next week, and we'll go over that later. And there's just some line items that have to be adjusted. The rate resolution has been submitted to the county auditor, and the sample ballot language for the fall election has been sent from the Board of Elections, and it's been looked over by the solicitor, and everything is all set and all ready to go. And that's it, and the report.
I have one thing to bring up. See, we got an email from the American Legal Publishing. Is that who? Everybody see that? It says it's 4 years since we've done our, updated our ordinance book.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to do it this year because it was pretty costly. But I would suggest that next year.
Yeah, when they actually had it done last time, it really wasn't gone through that thorough, and there are some old sections that have to be looked at. So I believe that should be probably turned over to legislation and let them go through the whole book. I'll give them some feedback of what we have, and then we can all sit down. But
Yeah, because we ran into a couple of things that should have been updated the last time.
Right, and
they
it's-
weren't.
And it's really sort of senseless spending $4,000 if it's not going to be up to where it should be. So
Is that about what it's going to cost?
it's about what it was last time.
Jay, you have anything?
Tim mentioned earlier that, the political sign ordinance is what's at the forefront of my projects for the moment. I had circulated my opinion and some proposals to council back on September 8th. I think there were some provisions of the existing ordinance that demanded repeal, and I had a recommendation on how to address some of our concerns by way of political signage on public lands, in fact, any signage on public land, that being the right-of-way, telephone poles, etc. So I think that's something that we need to take up with the appropriate committee. There's no doubt that this is a sensitive area. Both the Ohio Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court have spoken on it. Even in that handout that came to us last time, which was a brief letter or memo from the Mahoney County Board of Elections that urged various jurisdictions to re-examine their existing ordinances. They pointed out, inaccurately, I might add, that these arbitrary time limits and arbitrary sign size ordinances are basically unenforceable. One thing I talked about with Tim prior to caucus was when we run into a situation, as I think he gave you an example in the handout, where a sign is so large that it impairs a driver's ability to see clearly into oncoming traffic. So that's something that I think is a very legitimate interest, something I will look at and perhaps amend in my opinion to you. But unfortunately, it seems to be hands-off anymore about political signage. And aesthetically, it's just awful. Because with early voting and how easy it is, especially in Ohio now, to get absentee ballots and the increase in absentee ballots, to say somebody can only put up their signage 30 days before an election basically causes you to lose half of early voting. And so that's where some of the courts have said, sorry, Ken, you can't have this limit. And the example they gave that I shared with Tim about the size of signs was, say you have a household where the owners or the couple are on two different sides of the issue, and maybe the husband puts up a sign that meets the sign limit, and then the wife is now prohibited from putting up a sign on her opinion and her support because you'd be in violation of the ordinance. So that's the example that seems to be running through all the cases out there, and whether legitimate or not, that's what we're tied into. So I will continue looking at this. I will work, as always, I'll work with any of you that have particular interest, and certainly the committee that this is going to come out of.
I have a question just to follow that up.
Sure.
Could we possibly take them on a case-by-case basis? Say if we can't change our actual ordinances in time to reflect the upcoming election, can we treat any of it isolated as a zoning issue?
It would be very difficult under our existing ordinances. I think, given the age of the ordinances and these more recent rulings, we might be asking for trouble.
So there was a question in our discussion, in our discourse after the last council meeting about how to proceed. So is there enough time?
Well, I think there's enough time.
Between now and-
Yes, I definitely think there's enough time. And some of it is just a matter, perhaps, open discussions with candidates or their committees, and frankly, some respect and cooperation. I think everyone knows that they're not supposed to be in the right of way, and that's state law. You're not supposed to have signs in the right of way, period. So moving them back from the area between the sidewalk and the curb into somebody's yard, it doesn't change the message, but it accomplishes compliance with the laws. So I think, where Tim is maybe going to be banging his head against the wall is talking to people and fielding these complaints and saying, well, that's all we can do at this point, because that's the state law. Get it out of the right of way.
Or out of the devil strip?
Get the devil strip, right. Tree lawn, devil strip, apparently, depending on what part of Ohio is what they call it. Is what they call it.
Okay, thank you. You answered my question. Thanks so much.
Okay, I guess I'll give my mayor's report. I don't know if everyone saw the email from Paula, but we have our gas rate for this next year at $3.50 per MCF. And we gave Nick some information today that he's going to put it on the website. So there'll be, there's 3 different things. There's an announcement, how to opt out of it if you choose to, and what was the other thing was on there? In fact, FAQs, frequently asked questions. If you had any uncertainty about how that works, the program, it's all going to be on the website within the next week.
Yeah.
And we're in with Pullman Township, Boardman, Austin Town, Youngstown. We all do it together, one big conglomeration. And like I said, it is an opt-out, so you're automatically in, but if you choose to be out of it, you can do whatever you want. There's no cancellation fee to get out of the program. So we've been doing that for 8 years, I think now. It's worked out pretty well. Aqua Ohio is having their next quarterly public forum meeting. It's going to be on Wednesday, September 27th at 6 p.m. at Lowville City Hall. Everyone's invited to go to that if they choose to. Today at 11 o'clock, there was a meeting at Eastgate for the streets. I wasn't able to go. I had a meeting at work, but I talked to Gary Diordo. He was there, and he represented us on our behalf. And what it is, every municipality has 3 minutes to go before Eastgate Committee and explain their projects. And our projects will be just as they were last year's streets. We have a list of 5 or 6 streets that we're trying to get funding for this year, like we did last year. And the first round should be going in October, hopefully. We'll get it in before the weather, but we have 5 streets this year, and I think we did 6 for the next following year. And usually we're probably going to be successful because we do a 61-39 match. The more money we contribute, the more points you get, the better chance of getting the grant. So just like last year, we had the most points of anybody on the whole docket. I'd imagine that will probably happen again, but we passed a levy for 5 years to do all the roads that we can, and we're going to keep to that plan. And then the last thing, we have a birthday today, Nick Cernick. In case everyone didn't know, happy birthday, Nick.
That's it, I'm
That's all.
Thank you.
Yes, I don't want to let that go without drawing attention.
Nick, that problem that I pointed out to you about on the email addresses, is that going to prevent us from using that system at all?
No, I actually went through, I believe there's 5 people who are still showing it as NA,
Yeah,
and I sent them out the way to fix it.
okay,
So they have it, so as soon as they fix it,
okay.
yeah, this has to be done by them. I believe Chris, Mark, Leah,
Yeah,
Russ, and Jim, Paula.
okay.
Right? Me, right?
No, him.
And I highly encourage everybody to use this email system instead of our personal emails.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, probably in the next couple of weeks, that's all I'm going to be using. A little transition time here, but we need to be using it. Nick went through a lot of work to make this happen. It's the right thing to do, so.
And check it too, once a day or once every
Yeah.
day, because there's,
Now I have that connected to my phone email. Is that a problem?
No, it's fine.
That wouldn't open my phone up to?
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're going through a site that's
okay.
secure. I was just going to bring something up about the emails. Oh, on the contact site on the website, if it has something to do with streets, okay, it's going to go to, I believe, the mayor's on that list, the street commissioner, and also the council who are on that. So you really have to start looking at these emails, because there may be something out there that's sitting that we don't know is out there. So,
Very good. And you did great work on it. Thank you.
thank you very much.
all right, it's 7:30, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call of members.
Mr. Cassett?
Here.
Mr. Donovan?
Here.
Mr. Major?
Here.
Mrs. Cernick?
Here.
Mrs. Wilson?
Here.
Mrs. Yash?
Here.
Acceptance of the minutes from the previous council meeting.
Motion to waive the reading and approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Notifications of meetings and events to the public and news media. Blooper.
Blooper just met today. We are meeting again October the 17th at 6:30.
If anyone wonder what Blooper stands for, it's Buildings, Lands, Utilities, Parks, and Recreation. So it's just an abbreviation, but it sounds a little crazy. Finance.
Finance needs to schedule a meeting. What do you need from us, Nick?
We have to go over the line items in the budget. And I'm looking at next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
I'm good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'm good for those days too.
So far, any day is good, but that's subject to change.
This is evening?
Yes,
Right.
it could be at like
Wednesday would be best.
4:30 or 5 or
I
7.
can do 5.
Wednesday?
Wednesday is 5.
Wednesday?
Wednesday at 5.
What day's Wednesday?
27.
27.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Legislation Committee.
It's advised that if we'd like to look at the sign ordinance, that we try to meet before the next council meeting. Unfortunately, on my behalf, I had a miscommunication with Mr. Cosette. He was here today at 6 o'clock, so thank you very much, Mr. Cosette. We will have to move that forward a little bit. So if anybody would like to suggest a date or time, we'll give you that. So Mr. Cosette, myself? Okay.
What are you looking at, what day?
We could do next Wednesday, the 27th, at 7 p.m.
I'm out of town next week.
Monday evening, the 25th,
Why don't we do it before council? Oh, you want to do it before the next council meeting?
before council, so we can get any draft legislation or any changes to Jay so they can get approved. A little bit of a process. You want to do it the week of October, like October 2nd in the evening?
Yeah, that's fine, I'm back in town.
Is that pushing it a bit?
No, you can do it.
Okay.
October 2nd, what time?
5:30?
Okay.
And that's a Monday.
Here at council chambers. So legislation will meet October 2nd, 5:30 here at council chambers.
Police Committee.
Next scheduled police committee will be Tuesday, October 3rd at 6:30.
Okay, then I will also run the ad in the Vindy for the finance meeting and the legislation meeting.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
All right?
Okay. Street Committee.
Anything, John? Well, I mean, our next scheduled meeting would be October 17th. We did have an evening meeting tonight.
Okay. Boards, ARB.
Next scheduled meeting is Monday, October 2nd, 7 o'clock. What's that?
Oh, that's 2 hours. We'll be done in about 2 hours.
Planning.
The next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, September 20th at 7 p.m. And looking ahead, it is October 18th at 7 p.m.
Okay. Board of Zoning Appeals.
Nothing?
Western Reserve Joint Fire District.
It will be October 11th at 7:30 at the Station 92.
Forest Board. See no one out there.
Next Tuesday?
6.
It's 26, correct? Yep.
26.
Okay. And Hine Memorial.
The Hine Memorial Fund will meet this Thursday at 9 a.m. at the Poland Presbyterian Church.
Okay. We got the TMS items report from Zoning Administrator.
As discussed in caucus and presented in writing and pictures.
Make a motion to accept the zoning administrator's report.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. A report from Mayor, I gave that in Cox. The one thing I did forget to include is I talked to Eric Ungaro at the township about Halloween hours, because everyone calls in September and wants to know what's going on with Halloween. So we're going to do October 31st, which I believe is a Tuesday, from 5 to 7, and that's what they're going to do also. It's just so we're on the same page. And the rest of that, I gave it to Cox.
And that's Mahoney County's doing that too? Have they set theirs?
I imagine.
You say 5 to 7?
5 to 7, the 31st, which is a Tuesday. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve the mayor's report.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Report from fiscal officer.
My report was submitted in caucus.
Motion to accept the fiscal officer's report.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Report from solicitor.
Submitted in caucus.
Report to, a motion to approve the solicitor's report.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Report from chief of police and street commissioner.
Department submitted in writing.
Russ, question. The paving, do you have any timeframes?
Nope.
Just a suggestion, if at all possible. There's no school on October 13th, Friday the 13th, and Monday the 16th. I know they're talking about paving in October.
Yep.
If they're going to be doing it around that time, try to get College Street on one of those 2 days, on those
Okay.
2 days, if possible. I know it might be tough, but it's just crazy over there right now.
Yeah.
With the new systems.
Okay.
Okay.
See what I can do.
Yeah. Also, on the north side of College Street, that's supposed to be no parking?
North side? The west side?
Yeah.
Well, we went to this last year.
Mark's side, right in front of Mark's house.
We went to this last year. And we went down and enforced the no parking.
Yeah.
And the school was sending out flyers telling people to wait there to pick up their children
Okay.
after.
Okay, well, we want to definitely be on the same page.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I discussed that with them, and to be honest with you, they didn't.
Okay. Well, let's not do anything then until, I'll mention it to my boss first.
That would be a good idea.
Okay. Okay.
Motion to circulate the reports of council from the, if we can circulate it to the public. Somebody does.
Okay, motion to approve the police and street report. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Report from engineer. You going on? Okay. Like I said, Gary had that meeting today. He spoke on our behalf, so I hope we'll hear from that soon. Reports from outstanding committees of council, finance, wage, audit, and insurance.
We had a phone call from a young woman from Aflac who wanted to meet with finance. We did actually at one time, years ago, speak with them, and it decided it was not conducive to the village's way of doing things, but we take care of our own hospitalization and all of those things that they promote. But I did tell her that I would ask finance if you want her to come and make a presentation. I think we should allow her to do that. If we're not interested, then I think we should just be upfront about it.
That's more of an individual decision though. Would that's really, is that a system that the village would take on as a whole?
I guess it's happening. Whether it's legal or not, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But we don't really have a need for it because we do take care of those things ourselves.
Right, but Aflac's more of like
Like a long-term disability.
a long-term
like a
disability, or if you're disabled, it's just extra money going to the individual that's off work.
Right.
It's insurance, but not like a traditional hospitalization type thing. So it's more of a decision of the individual employee,
I would
whether
think
they
so.
would want it or not.
Right.
I mean,
That's
let's
all.
listen to it so we can understand it better.
Do we really want to take the time to do that though now? If we're really not interested, we'd be wasting her time and we're wasting our time as well.
Since it is an individual decision, maybe we ought to float that question amongst the employees to see if they would be
If they're
interested.
interested.
And if there is an interest, then maybe we address it. Sound fair?
Sure.
Some of their paychecks maybe,
Okay.
flyers.
Have you seen them? Fire on it?
No,
Okay, you can give them from her.
or just say anyone is from Aflac that would
Oh,
know
okay.
interest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to do it. Okay. And then we'll see what the poll, how that comes out. Okay, sound good?
Yep.
Okay, motion to approve the finance report?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The Legislation and Policy Committee.
We discussed meeting regarding signage in the village, especially that of political signs, and you're all aware of the meeting that we set for October 2nd. So, 5:30.
That's my day.
That's all we have for that issue at this moment.
Motion to approve the legislation report?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Police Committee.
It was submitted in writing, Russ's report.
Yeah, we're with that.
Yeah.
Street, Sidewalks, and Drainage Committee.
This is already by the chief.
Okay. Bluebird.
We had an ongoing discussion, again, we have appreciated Town 1, Range 1 being here this evening. We have forgotten about the idea of changing the name of the committee. We're still looking into leases from different copier companies and looking at our usage for paper and various administrative needs. Mr. Cernick has agreed to meet with the committee and maybe discuss with Paula overall usage. We got a bit of a glimpse into a month-long usage of paper here at Village Hall. So as we're considering copier leases, we're also going to look at the other side of that and see what our actual consumption would be if we maybe decided to start a paperless policy. So there are lots of ins and outs of that. It'll take a little bit more time than I think anybody thinks it will, and although it seems like a simple thing, our goal is to save the village money in the long run, and I think that's a simple way to do it with some smart moves. And we welcome anybody's input who has experience with this. And that's really all that I have for right now. I did talk with Russ, and he's continuing to look at the issues here at Village Hall that we pointed out to him last month. And he said by the end of the week, they'll have the front steps repaired, and that was one of the things. So that is all I have for right now on our checklist.
Accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Reports from boards, Planning Commission.
Planning will meet tomorrow night. We're getting closer to knowing more about that historical district legislation and an update. We're also getting very specific on our tree ordinances and the draft of the tree species list, and it sounds like there could be a nice collaboration with Town 1, Range 1 with that. They are planning on taking into account the sidewalk policies and what's being done with sidewalks in light of the trees that people select to be planted in the future. And the political sign ordinance will be considered tomorrow night as well, probably the top issue of tomorrow evening's discussion. We meet at 7 o'clock here at Village Hall. Okay.
Motion to approve the planning report?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Board of Zoning Appeals.
Nothing?
Architectural Review Board.
I don't really have anything for you. I did attend the meeting that Tim was talking about, and we did approve the sign at that meeting. And that basically was all that we had for that meeting.
Motion to approve the ARB report?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Forest Board.
Mark, do you know when we have the next meeting?
Yes, the next meeting is to next week, Tuesday.
26th.
26?
Anything going on with the Forest Board, Mark?
Well, similar to what we discussed, I believe, the last council meeting, where it's a continuation of the projects we started earlier this summer. The projects are winding down. The Zediker Pavilion chimney is rising above the roof line for those who have not been there. We've modified the design a bit. The parking lots at Indian Trail and College Lane are probably 90% complete. We have some landscaping left to do, some plaques to hang, and that's pretty much it. The last big project we have left is to relay or attempt to relay foundation stones that used to line the Bluebell Trail culvert. And we'll be doing that this week, I believe.
Sort of stem off, that's not really directly related to the Forest Board, but I saw in Russ's report that there were a few break-ins in cars over the weekend, and the reason is because people's purses or whatever was right in plain vision on their seats. So if anyone goes to the woods or knows anyone, just make sure you hide that stuff, because it's easy target and it happens a lot.
Motion to accept the forest report?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? High Memorial Board?
We meet tomorrow, or I mean Thursday at 9. So I have a report after that.
And Western Reserve Joint Fire District.
Nothing.
Okay. Reports from special committees. Communication from residents. We'll let you speak, Charlie.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot to announce a couple things. Charles Bromberg, 7051 North Lima Road. I'm passing out invitations to the Poland Forest Foundation Wine and Cheese event, which is going to be held October 14th. It's a Saturday at Wittenauer's Cafe. There's going to be, of course, wine and cheese and some music that evening. We're also going to be talking about ways that we can raise funds to improve the forest experience. So we're really looking forward to this event, and we've invited all of you and your spouses or significant others to come. And some were mailed, so if you don't get one, don't think that I purposely didn't invite you.
Thank you.
Jack on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not a bad
Was
address.
it October 14th? Ask
Wittenauer's Cafe,
what time?
Nice.
7 to 9 p.m.
Nice.
And then secondly, and briefly, Town on Range 1 is also holding an event on Thursday, October 26th at Poland Seminary High School for Meet the Candidates Night. This is from 7 to 9 p.m. as well. Again, Thursday, October 26th. We're inviting all the candidates that are running for Township Trustee, Village Council, Board of Education, and Judge to be able to present some of their views and ideas to the audience. There will be moderators that will be asking questions, etc. But just wanted to make all of you aware of that.
What's the time of that again?
7 to 9 p.m., high school auditorium, and that's October 26th. It's a Thursday.
Thanks for doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Any new business? Any old business? Motions, ordinances, resolutions. Okay. Second and third readings. Presentation of the bills.
Make a motion that the bills be paid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
They
opposed?
didn't come around yet.
They're somewhere.
Joe must have come. Okay, questions from the news media? Remarks by council. Mrs. Wilson.
Happy birthday to Mr. Cernick. Thank you so much for all you do, and you really should be out to eat right now.
Thank you.
So,
She should
so much for all you've done.
her treat, of course.
Your treat, Linda.
Yes, you got Mr. Donovan.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mayor.
Thank you.
Go Bulldogs, having a heck of a football season so far.
Mr. Major.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Yash.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Thank you. Mr. Cassett.
Happy birthday. Only 96 days left for shopping before Christmas.
Great.
Okay,
Mrs. Surley. Comments?
No, I have nothing.
happy birthday to your relative.
She's mad, she hasn't taken off to dinner.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:50.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned.